रेडी। ये जो आपको सेट मिलेगा, आप ये मिलेगा आपको इंग्लिश डिक्टेशन, Test2 @100 @80। कंटेंट का सोर्स केसी नहीं है। रेडी, स्टार्ट इट। All of them together cleared the garbage and mud, and after some time the lake area became completely clean. Now people are waiting for the rainy season. Indeed, this is a great example of the Catch the Rain campaign. Friends, you can also join such efforts at the community level. You must make a plan from now on to take this mass movement forward, and you have to remember one more thing. If possible, keep cold water in an earthen pot in front of your house during summers. Keep water for birds on the roof of the house or even in the veranda. See how blessed you will feel after doing this punya karma. Friends, we will now talk about adding wings to your zeal, about displaying passion despite challenges. In the Khelo India Para Games that concluded a few days ago, the players surprised everyone with their dedication and talent once again. This time more players participated in these games than earlier. This shows how popular para sports is becoming. I congratulate all the players participating in the Khelo India Para Games for their sterling efforts. My best wishes for the players of Haryana, Tamil Nadu and UP for securing the first, second and third positions respectively. During these games, our Divyang players also set 18 national records, out of which 12 were in the name of our women players. Arm wrestler Joby Matthew, who won a gold medal in this year's Khelo India Para Games, has written a letter to me. I would like to read out an excerpt of his letter. He has written, "Winning a medal is very special, but our struggle is not limited to just standing on the podium. We fight a battle every day. Life tests us in many ways. Very few people understand our struggle. Despite this, we move forward with courage. We work towards fulfilling our dreams. We believe that we are no less than anyone else." Great, Joby Matthew. You have written an amazing, wonderful letter. I thank you for this letter. I want to tell Joby Matthew and all our Divyang friends that your efforts are a great inspiration for us. Friends, another grand event in Delhi has inspired people a lot, filled them with enthusiasm. Fit India Carnival was organized for the first time as an innovative idea. About 25,000 people from different fields participated in it. All of them had the same goal: to stay fit and spread awareness about fitness. People involved in this event got information related to their health as well as nutrition. I urge you to organize such carnivals in your area as well. My Bharat can be of great help to you in this initiative. Friends, our indigenous games are now becoming a part of popular culture. You all must be knowing the famous rapper Hanuman Kind. His new song Run It Up is becoming quite famous these days. Our traditional martial art has been included in it. I congratulate humankind that due to his efforts, people of world are getting to know about our traditional martial arts. My dear countrymen, every month I get a lot of messages from you on my GOV and Namo app. Many messages touch my heart while others fill me with pride. Many a time these messages provide unique information about our culture and traditions. This time I want to share with you the message that caught my attention. Atharu Kapoor from Varanasi, Aryans Likha and Atre Man from Mumbai have written about their feelings on my recent visit to Mauritius. They have written that they greatly enjoyed the performance of Geet Gavai during this visit. I have felt similar sentiments in many letters received from Eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. What I felt during the wonderful performance of Geet Gavai in Mauritius was truly amazing. Friends, when we say stay connected to our roots, no matter how big the storm, it cannot uproot us. Just imagine, about 200 years ago, many people from India went to Mauritius as indentured laborers. Nobody knew what would happen next. But with the passage of time, they settled there. They carved a niche identity for themselves in Mauritius. They preserved their heritage and remained connected to their roots. Mauritius is not the only such example. Last year when I went to Guyana, the performance there impressed me a lot. Friends, there are many such organizations in the world which have been working to conserve Indian culture for years. One such organization is Singapore Indian Fine Arts Society. The organization engaged in preserving Indian dance, music and culture has completed its glorious 75 years. In the program related to this occasion, the President of Singapore, Sriman Tharmanji, was the guest of honor. He praised the efforts of this organization. I extend my best wishes to this team. Friends, along with the achievements of the countrymen, we often raise social issues as well. Many a time, challenges are also discussed. This time I want to talk about a challenge that is directly related to all of us. This challenge is of textile waste. You must be wondering, what is this new problem of textile waste? Actually, textile waste has become a major cause of worry for the whole world. Nowadays, the trend of getting rid of old clothes as soon as possible and buying new ones is increasing all over the world. Have you ever thought what happens to the old clothes that you stop wearing? This becomes textile waste. A lot of global research is being done on this subject. It has come to light in a research that only less than 1% of textile waste is recycled into new clothes. Less than even 1%. India is the third country in the world where the maximum textile waste is generated. This means that we also face a huge challenge. But I am happy that many commendable efforts are being undertaken in our country to deal with this challenge. Many Indian startups have started working on textile recovery facilities. There are many such teams that are also working for the employment of our rag picker brothers and sisters. 100 की स्पीड है, 1029 वर्ड्स है, और ये आपको इंग्लिश डिक्टेशन टेस्ट 2 के नाम से मिल जाएगा 100 की स्पीड में। 80 पे लिखेंगे। Start it. Mr. Speaker, sir, you have been pleased to say many generous things about the members of this house and to my great embarrassment about me. I should like to offer you my grateful thanks, and I am sure I speak on behalf of the house also when I offer you their thanks for your kind words. It is befitting that on this occasion, when this Parliament stands at the days of its own dissolution, there should be some valedictory references to our past. Since you have been good enough to make a reference to the work of this Parliament, I am taking the liberty of also saying a few words. We have gone through during these 5 years a tremendous amount of work, and as you have said, the speeches have covered, I do not know how many millions of pages. Questions have also been asked, and altogether a vast quantity of paper has been consumed. Yet the historian of the future will probably not pay too much attention to the number of speeches or the hours which the speeches have taken, or to the number of questions, but rather to the deeper things that go towards the making of a nation. Here we have sat in this Parliament, the sovereign authority of India, responsible for the country's governance. Surely there can be no higher responsibility or greater privilege than to be a member of this sovereign body, which is responsible for the fate of the vast number of human beings who live in this country. All of us, if not always, at any rate, from time to time, must have felt this high sense of responsibility and destiny to which we had been called. Whether we were worthy of it or not is another matter. During these 5 years, we have not only functioned on the days of history, but sometimes plunged into the processes of making history. We have lived here as indeed people have lived all over the world at a moment of greater challenge and transition, of fast upsets and revolutionary processes. Not only have we been part of that world drama, but we have had our own drama also. It would be interesting for someone to take a rather distant view of the drama of these 5 years and more. Not being lost in the innumerable confusing details, but seeing this broad current of history. We choose this system of parliamentary democracy deliberately. We choose it not only because to some extent we had always thought on those lines previously, but because we thought it was in keeping with our own old traditions, not the old traditions as they were, but adjusted to the new conditions and new surroundings. We choose it also, let us give credit where credit is due, because we approved of its functioning in other countries, more especially the United Kingdom. So, this parliament and the Lok Sabha became to some extent like the British Parliament and the British House of Commons in regard to our rules of procedure and methods of work. Parliamentary democracy demands many virtues. It demands, of course, ability. It demands a certain devotion to work, but it demands also a large measure of cooperation, of self-discipline, of restraint. It is obvious that a house like this cannot perform any functions without a spirit of cooperation, without a large measure of restraint and self-discipline in each group. Parliamentary democracy is not something which can be created in a country by some magic wand. We know very well that there are not many countries in the world where it functions successfully. I think it may be said without any partiality that it has functioned with a very large measure of success in this country. Why? Not so much because we, the members of this house, are exemplars of wisdom, but I think because of the background in our country and because our people have the spirit of democracy in them. We have to remember what parliamentary democracy means. More so in this time of change and ferment than in ordinary times. Even when the old order is good, it has to yield place to a new one, lest one good custom should corrupt the world. Change there must be, change there has to be, particularly in a country like India, which was more or less changeless for a long time, changeless not only because the dynamic aspect of the country was limited, restricted and confined by foreign domination, but also because we had fallen into ruts of our own making in our minds, in our social framework and the rest. So, we had to take our souls out both from the ruts and from the disabilities and restrictions caused by align rule. We had to make rapid changes in order to catch up. But while change is necessary, there is another quality that is also necessary, a measure of continuity. There has always to be a balancing of change and continuity in our democratic way of life. 839 वर्ड्स है, 80 की स्पीड है, फ्लक्चुएशन 4 या 5 वर्ड अपसाइड में है, और ये आपको टेस्ट नंबर 2 में @80 पे मिल जाएगा. सीन कंटेंट लिखेंगे. जो सीन कंटेंट बोल रहा हूँ आपको विद कोमा नो कोमा दोनों फाइल में मिल जाएगा. रेडी? Start it. Sir, I would like to say a few words about the changes made by the Joint Select Committee in the bill as originally introduced. These changes related mainly to the development and regulation of interstate transport period of validity of permits for operation of transport vehicles, payment of compensation to operators in case of nationalization, and some other matters. I am glad to say that the committee, realizing the need for developing and expanding transport facilities in the country, proceeded to make changes so as to produce the desired result. The committee felt that the development of interstate transport is not such as can be taken care of solely by the state governments, as was the case hitherto, and the time has come for the central government to step in and take powers to develop, coordinate, and regulate the operation of transport vehicles in respect of areas or routes common to two or more states. They accordingly endorsed the principle contained in clause 57 for setting up a central authority for this purpose, but considered that instead of two separate authorities as proposed in the original bill, there need be only one, namely the Interstate Transport Commission, which should have powers to associate with itself representatives of the concerned state governments as and when considered necessary. This is a distinct improvement over the previous arrangement envisaged in the bill. The committee also amended clause 52 and decided to remove the mileage restrictions for grant of public carriers permits between places connected by railways. This will give greater freedom for movement of vehicles for interstate operation. As regards the period of validity of a permit, the committee was generally of the opinion that as the prices of vehicles had gone up, the operators needed security of business if they were to invest large amounts of money for providing transport facilities to the general public. One method of ensuring this, it was thought, would be by increasing the period of validity of permits, and another by doing away with the present provision of giving preference to applications for renewal of permits over new applications. Clause 50 of the bill was accordingly amended so that a permit for a stage carriage shall be effective without renewal for a period of 3 to 5 years, and a public or private carrier's permit will be effective for a period of 5 years. It was also decided to retain the original proviso in Section 58 of the Motor Vehicle Act that other conditions being equal, an application for renewal shall be given preference over new applications for permits. In this connection, I may mention that the committee also made a provision in the bill that other things being equal, the cooperative societies running transport services should be given preference over new operators. This preference for cooperative societies will to some extent help the policy of government to encourage the formation of viable units which it is considered can promote operational efficiency and better utilization of vehicles, leading to general economy. The question of payment of compensation to operators displaced as a result of introduction or expansion of nationalization of road transport services was discussed by the committee at great length. It was generally felt that the amount of compensation provided in the original bill was far from adequate. It was also urged that every time the compensation should be paid for non-renewal of permits, and that the amount payable for the cancellation of a permit or the modification of the terms thereof should be fixed with reference to the earnings of the individual operator concerned. A view was also expressed that it should be obligatory on a state transport undertaking to acquire all the assets of a private operator in whose case permits were cancelled or the terms thereof were modified in implementation of an approved scheme for introduction or expansion of nationalized road transport services. After careful consideration of all these points, the committee decided that the amount of compensation originally proposed should be doubled. The committee thought that there was no question of compensation so far as non-renewal of a permit was concerned, as it did not involve any loss of business. Compulsory acquisition of assets was also not favored, as it was feared that a good deal of unserviceable vehicles would be passed on to nationalized transport undertakings and that would involve loss to the taxpayer. The question can very well be left to state governments who would be willing to take over serviceable vehicles and other useful equipment from private operators by negotiation. The committee also amended clause 37 to provide for directions being issued by state governments to the state transport authorities to grant permits for alternative routes or areas to operators displaced as a result of nationalization. This will help in rehabilitation of displaced operators and also lead to opening of more routes. Provision has also been made that the private operators should form unions and ply their vehicles more efficiently. ये 80 की स्पीड है, 840 वर्ड से, और ये आपको सॉफ्टवेयर में विद कॉमा नो कॉमा दोनों फाइल मिल जाएगी। 301 नंबर है, केसी सोर्स है।